Okay, so tactic number 1 out of 5 is called just one thing. And the idea here is that you want to establish exactly one thing that you want to get done the next day. So the way this works for me is every night before I go to bed, I will physically write down, I usually have a sticky note on my desk. I'll write down what is the thing I want to achieve tomorrow. And if I achieve that thing, that'll be success. If I don't, then I failed that day. Okay, tactic number 2, reflection. And the idea of reflection is that you need to be able to understand what you achieved. So what we talked about before is your pre-routine, and this is your post-routine, before and after, what you should do every single day. So at the end of the day, you should kind of mentally reflect and say, hey, I didn't actually get what I wanted to done. This happens all the time, right? And I think especially as you start out, the task you pick is going to be way too broad or too ambiguous. You'll get stuck somewhere and then you will fail, right? You're not going to achieve what you wanted to. And so the critical thing here is that you have to ask the question, why? And the answer might be, okay, I just didn't feel like working today. And that's not really a good answer. And so you should ask one more time, why didn't you get anything done today? Was it because I procrastinated because I just didn't know what to do? The lack of clarity? And then you ask one more level, why was there a lack of clarity? What would have given me enough clarity to actually be able to make progress? Tactic number 3 is focus. And I probably don't have to convince anyone here of the importance of being able to focus. But the idea is that, especially in 2022, today's day and age, there's so many distractions available to you, right? And this idea of context switching is really destructive if you're doing deep work like software engineering requires. You're deep and you have a lot of context to fit in your head, and someone interrupts you, you get a call, you get a text, you open up Instagram, it'll ruin any progress you've made. Okay, tactic number 4, eat the frog. So this is an expression which basically means that eating a frog is not very pleasant, right? Has anyone here eaten a frog before? But if you've eaten a frog, then you'll know that it doesn't taste very good, right? I haven't actually eaten a frog, so I don't know, but this is what I've been told. So eating a frog is very difficult. And so the idea of eating the frog is whatever is the eat the frog equivalent in your life, that's what you should do first thing in the morning. And so when I wake up, before I do anything, before I check my phone, before I check my email, I will spend some amount of time, usually it's like a half hour or an hour, depending on what I'm trying to get done. That half hour for 1 hour is deliberate time that I'm focusing on the most important thing I have that day, which is the thing that we defined in tactic number 1, which was, just one thing. All right, and tactic number 5, the last tactic I have here, is this idea of an accountability partner. And an accountability partner is an enormous, it's a huge leverage point for managing your time because it taps into this notion of shame. And shame is very powerful, right? So the idea of accountability is that find a friend, and ideally a friend who is not super close to you, because if they're very close to you, then you don't feel bad, rejecting them or blowing them off if you have a meeting with them. Someone who's you're kind of familiar with, but not super familiar with. And what you should do with this accountability partner is talk about what your goals are each day or each week, and then compare, what did you achieve? And I think, one of the things that you'll find is that if you have a good accountability partner, they're just going to achieve a lot. And that will inspire you to say, hey, they're doing so much. Why can't I do the same thing? Why can't I do more? There's this healthy competitiveness that happens when you have a partner.